So the first day at Comic-Con was super slow. Nothing really happened as Paramount, Sony, and DreamWorks Animation all kind of dropped the ball. I'm going to recap all three of those panels on Morning Movie News today, but first, let's talk about what was on everybody's mind, and that is yet another picture of Batfleck. Yes, Warner Brothers took full advantage of the lull in headlines to continue to make their own, and I think it's very interesting that while Marvel continues to release posters of different characters over from their corner, Warner Brothers just keeps hitting us with Batfleck, aka Ben Affleck as Batman, as it seems to be the only card they think they have to play. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but it certainly is getting a lot of people's attention. Yesterday, we discussed the cape and cowl that Dan DiDio himself tweeted out to everybody on Wednesday night. But then eagle-eyed fans spotted within the pictures at the DC booth, I believe, that there was this other picture of Batman, Ben Affleck in the costume as Batman. So DC, proud that it had been spotted, apparently that's what they were waiting for, officially released the photo. So here it is, and it's Ben Affleck up close. It's kind of in the shadows again. I guess he's lurking in the shadows of Comic-Con, but it's the same situation with that first photo that came out with the Batmobile, where we're not really getting to see too much, but now we get I think one thing that's interesting here, as you can see, is that Ben Affleck is pulling in his lips, and that's because with his mouth, he's acting. And I say that with the utmost seriousness, actually, because I'm really impressed that, I think a lot of people felt that Christian Bale was acting with his voice, and of course it was the voice that launched 1,000 jokes, and I think that it's interesting that I'm already calling him Bruce Wayne, that Ben Affleck as an actor would realize that with the cowl he only has the lower half of his face to act with, and he would come up with this. I mean, I think that's fascinating. I think it's like, he must be spending a lot of time looking in the mirror or looking at test footage, and I commend that kind of commitment to the role. He's not just like, as soon as I put on the mask and the cape and cowl, I'm Batman, right? My job's done. What's up? He's like, how can I really, meet this challenge head on? And I think he's very aware of, the potential backlash. So that's great. I think that's really encouraging. Now, by pulling in his lips, I mean, I think I looked at a lot of pictures of Ben Affleck's lips. Here's one of them. You can see in real life, they go out a little bit. Now, by pulling them in, I think it not only creates this feeling of anger and also anticipation, like maybe he's going to say something at any minute. He's definitely thinking what's going on. But also, it's an older look. When you get older, little known fact, sometimes people tend to lose their lips. They depuff a little bit. And I think that's what Ben Affleck is playing off here, to play up being an older Bruce Wayne. Now, of course, his chin is super distinctive, and a lot of people some people tweeted me and said, it's now Batchin. And I think that Bruce Wayne would have a hard time saying, that's not my chin, and people would be like, I only know, like, that chin on you. It's very, very distinctive. So, he could have had, like, a little chin plate that comes up from the bottom to cover up more of his face. They'd be like, Ben, you're doing magic with the lips, baby. You don't need the chin. But I don't know. I mean, I have to say, in addition to the ears, it looks incredibly a lot like Frank Miller's Batman. And of course, as we all know, Zack Snyder already has a relationship with Frank Miller off of the 300 movies. And so I would not be surprised at all, as we've discussed before, if that's the model that he's going after. And I think that, clearly Ben Affleck's looking at those illustrations as well, that comic book art by Frank Miller, because he's incorporating it into his visage. So I'm curious, what do you think of Ben Affleck's face acting, or even more accurately, his lip acting? And does this give you encouragement for how he's going to do as Batman, or are you like, I know it, it's not good? I'm curious. I showed this to a couple different people. Some people loved it, like myself. Some people instantly disliked it, to the point where I was like, "Oh, that's a little bit of a concern. I would be worried if I were Warner Brothers, that's that quick or visceral reaction in a negative manner." So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But you can see the furrowed brow that we all talked about yesterday on the cape and cowl. His built-in expression. That's actually working quite well with the lighting. And also the arched eyebrows work very well. He does have a menacing look. And somebody pointed out, I said, this is the first Batman that looks, a little evil. This mask has elements of the Joker in it almost, with those arched eyebrows. And someone said, that's great. It's time Batman was a little evil. And I think that's true. I think that's a direction we haven't seen the Cape Crusader go in, much to the chagrin of all the actors who played him in the past, because they're like, you always focus on the villains. What about some character development for Batman? There was a little bit for Christian Bale, but even then I think villains ended up taking over the trilogy. So we'll see if, because this is a situation where it's Batman fighting another hero, does he become a little bit of the villain, at least at first? That could be a great side effect of a Batman v Superman movie. So write your thoughts down below. More news coming today for Comic-Con. Hopefully we'll start to get some actual major headlines, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more releases. We should expect 2 more posters from Marvel today, and I have some other things to discuss as well. So keep checking back for Comic-Con news all through at least up till Sunday. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.